Hello. Some folks call me Abe, folks call me Coomsey, other folks call me Ramirez. I got a whole bunch of names I'm known by, but the most important name that I'm known by is the man. You're watching this video exclusively because you've had some problems with your 2002 Chevrolet Cavalier General Motors, and you've replaced the ignition. You've either replaced the lock or the entire mechanism. The 2002 Cavalier is a standard model. It probably goes down in terms of model down as far as maybe 1998, and then as far forward as 2004. So relative to your vehicle and irrespective of engine size, which is 2.2 overhead cam, 2.2 dual overhead cam, and then 2.2 just standard. Most important thing is the replacement of the cylinder lock. Now here's the fundamental cylinder lock. Key slips in here. Inside the mechanism, this is the actual mechanism that turns the ignition, but the game, where the game is played, is right here. This little piece right here is the electronic system along with the patch into the electronic system. So as you've taken out the old lock and brought in the new lock, and you're patching this into the patch board, which is underneath the column, the computer now has to read, hey, there's a new lock. Is the car being ripped off? What's the deal? You've put it in, you've turned on the ignition, and you're getting a theft program, right? So all the videos that are out there do not explain what I'm going to explain with clarity. There's only one by a gentleman named Billy Bob, but don't hold me to his name. If you find his video, it's only 1 minute long. This particular video goes for a couple more longer minutes because I'm going to explain it in greater detail. So you've put in the system, you put in the ignition system, you've plugged it in, everything is going good. The first thing you got to do is shut down your charging system through the battery. Disconnect the negative, disconnect the positive. Your system has now been shut down. There's no power through the system. Then you replug in the negative, replug in the positive, now you're recharged. First move, turn the system on. Not start the engine, not to the full start the engine, just system on. You'll start getting your flashing light theft program, theft security program, so on and so on. That'll run for approximately 10 minutes or so. Then that's cycle one. At that point, you turn it off. You just turn it to the off position, not the unlock, take out the key position, just the off position. Then you turn the system back on. Not start the engine on, just on, electrical system flowing through. Theft program comes on. This is cycle number 2. So it'll cycle, and then it'll stop. At that point, you turn it off. Again, not unlock the key, pull it out, just off. Then you turn it on. Now you've started session number 3 of cycling. Cycle. Then at the end of that cycle, you turn it off. Now, if the system is programmed, when you turn it back on to the on position, you should not see any theft program. Your engine is ready to start, and you proceed to start the engine. You're back in action. You're a happy camper. Now, if that doesn't work, you repeat the process over. So here we go, repeating the process over. Disconnect the negative, disconnect the positive, system shuts down. Reconnect negative, reconnect positive, system is charged. Insert key, turn to on position, not start the engine. You're not trying to start the engine, you're simply charging the system. It's on, theft light comes on, blinking, 10 minutes. Turn to the off position. Turn back on. Cycle 2 number begins. Blinking. Turn it off at the end of that session. It'll blank out. You're like, great, turn it off, turn it back on. Cycle number 3. Cycle. It'll turn off. Then you turn off the ignition, turn it back on as if you were to start a 4th cycle, and if everything is going well, your dashboard is clear, start the engine. You're a happy camper, happy trails, drive on, so on and so on. Now, let's say you've done that, you're like, what the heck, man, I just watched your video, it didn't happen. All that means is that the system didn't cycle. You start it all over again. Disconnect the battery, disconnect negative, disconnect positive, so on and so on. You do it again. So this is where folks have struggled. It didn't happen the first time. This is where we're talking electronics. You just got to suffer through it, and all the stress that it begins, that you've done everything right, you've disassembled, you've plugged in, what the heck. It's a computer system. Computers are not known for being intuitive as to, hey, all I did was replace the lock. Work with me. No, you've got to work with the system and recharge it, relearn it. That's what's happening here. The computer is trying to relearn. Why the hell am I not, computer speaking of course, am I not getting the original signal? On your side, the human side, just do it again. Do it a second time. If all else fails, all you're left with is getting a diagnostic device from AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, or whoever has the device, patch it in, and then you'll have to get the code for theft program and shut down the program, the theft program, so you can bypass the programming. So that's on the back end where you got to get that device. Otherwise, it's the steps that I've just mentioned, and you're on your way. Welcome to the Chevy Nation. We love you. America loves you. Till next time. Coomsy baby.